Welcome to this episode of Mainline Connect. My name is Jennifer Lynn Robinson, and my guest today is Psimaris, the Development Director of Girls on the Run of Montgomery and Delaware counties. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
So one of the questions we like to start out with is something along the lines of a networking topic.
Yep.
And, I thought would be interesting to ask you how important you think, as a development director, face-to-face networking is for a nonprofit.
Well, that's a great question. I think face-to-face networking really in any form is obviously very important to build relationships and really get to the heart of what people care about, especially when they're talking about donating their time or their money. It's very important to build the relationship, and you get that, I think, best through face-to-face. But I think especially for Girls on the Run, when you hear a nonprofit called Girls on the Run, I think you automatically assume it's a running club,
right.
Maybe a running sport of some type. And I think it's not until you really meet with somebody that you can understand and talk to them face to face about the depth and breadth of what we do and how much more we are than a running club. We're actually obviously a nonprofit that works to teach girls life skills through running activity. Mm-hmm. So running is just a small part of what we do. And I think it's hard to really get that through to people, whether it's an email or something through our website. I think meeting somebody face to face is most important for that.
Do you find when you're at networking events and people ask what you do they kind of delve deeper? Like when you say, I'm the development director of Girls on the Run, do they say, oh, that's nice? Or do they say, oh, what is that? What do you do? And that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are drawn. When they see Girls on the Run, I often have people come over to me at networking events and say, what? I need to know about that. Tell me more about Girls on the Run, because it could be so many things. And then when they hear what we're about and all the things that we do, again, besides just running, I think it speaks to a lot of people, and especially women, men. I mean, we have volunteers that are men, and we have men that do coach and deliver our curriculum, because what we teach are really human characteristics and human experiences. And I think all the life skills that we teach are so applicable to so many different people. I think it just speaks to everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you kind of already got into my next question, which was the mission of Girls on the Run. And it seems like what you've said is it's teaching girls life skills, but through running and athletics.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we want is to address the whole girl. So we don't just address the physical side, or we don't just address the emotional or social. We address the whole child.
Okay.
And what we really are about is teaching girls to be joyful, healthy, and confident. That is our mission.
That's the tagline?
That is the tagline.
Okay.
Yeah, is inspiring girls to be healthy, joyful, and confident. And we do that through a series of running activities, and through a 12-week program. We meet in small groups of about 8 to 20 girls.
Okay.
And we deliver a curriculum which is consistent across the country. And in these small groups, these girls are taught 24 life skills.
Oh, wow.
And they're everything character building, from visualization and meditation to making healthy choices about eating, to learning how to pace yourself when running, to learning about self-esteem and bullying. So again, at the end of the 12 weeks, the girls are physically and emotionally prepared to run a 5K event, which is
the way it culminates.
That's
the
program,
culminate,
right?
Okay.
So we have locally in Delaware, Montgomery County, we have 46 schools and 62 teams right now. Well, we just finished our season, but at the time, and the girls are all going through these curriculum together at the same time. And then at the end, we had 867 girls cross this finish line as that culminating event, which is pretty neat, because they're all in their small little circles. And then at the end of the season, they all come together to have this big milestone, and they all get to do it together, which is really
that's really cool,
really exciting. Yeah.
So the girls that enter the program, would you say for the most part they're already athletic or already runners, or some of them not at all?
Yeah, we have a range of everything. Some girls, again, because they hear Girls on the Run, they're like, oh, it's a running program, and their parents sign up the girls thinking, this is perfect, my daughter's already a runner. Or we have the complete opposite, which is, my child is not athletic, I want to get him into a running program. So they think that they're going to put him into our little boot camp and get them into a running program. But again, we have everything in between.
Right.
And it doesn't matter to us because we, again, will teach all those skills during the 12-week program. And the same thing goes for our coaches. Our organization is really run by volunteer coaches. So we, this past season, had 253 volunteer coaches that deliver the curriculum. And a lot of times we have coaches call and say, I'm a ultra marathoner, or I'm a triathlete, I'm ready to be a coach. Or we have ones that say, I've never run a day in my life, can I coach?
And they still coach.
The answer is yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah.
We love it all. It does not matter. It's not about the physical fitness of the girl or the coach coming into the program.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I know that from looking at your website, you have girls in the program that are between 3rd grade and 8th grade. Why that age range? Why do you feel like that's the age range that you want to focus on with the charity?
Yeah, well, particular for the 3rd through 5th grade subset, which is what Girls on the Run it really targets, because we have the 3rd through 5th grade curriculum, and then we have a 6th to 8th grade curriculum, which is called Heart and Soul.
Okay.
Girls on the Run is predominantly who I would say, have right now in our county is about 90% of our participants are actually on the Girls on the Run program, and that's the 3rd through 5th grade. And really what research has shown is that when girls hit that 8, 9, 10, 11 mark, there's this shift inside of them, and it comes a lot less from like their internal, and there's a focus on the external,
right? And
the societal pressures and the media and the looks and the peers, and all of that starts to really affect the girls and affect their perception, their confidence, them really listening and tuning into their own gut or their own whispers, if you will. So what we do is we try to have the girls tune back into themselves, and through our curriculum really have them honor themselves and listen to themselves and be advocates for themselves. So that seems to be the critical age to really teach these girls these life lessons so that they're able to then take it and apply it to the rest of their lives.
So what do you do to overcome some of that messaging? I mean, the fashion magazines and the media and the dieting and
it's everywhere.
Not only is it everywhere, but I mean, I'm sure that you've had people in the program that actually have that in their household, where they have a parent or a sibling that says, oh, you're putting on weight, or, you should do Weight Watchers even though you're 10, or, whatever it is. How do you combat that?
It's so hard. And you hit it right on the head, which is we deliver this amazing curriculum to these girls, right? But a lot of times at home, they're facing the exact opposite of what we're teaching in Girls on the Run. And that can be a question for a later time as we talk, because we actually are building out we have a parent guide already that goes along with the curriculum, so that parents can kind of follow along with what we teach, and they have questions to engage the girls when they come home from lessons.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that is a big part of it, is what goes on at home. So what we do is everything we can to try to plant these seeds of learning for the girls. And we actually have a whole lesson that's dedicated to media and images and advertising, and we actually bring with us articles and maybe look at social media and really sit down with the girls in that lesson and have them dissect these articles. What is this magazine portraying? Why do you think they put, a shampoo commercial with somebody looking so happy and healthy? And is that true? If you use a certain type of shampoo, does that mean you're going to be happy and healthy and beautiful? Exactly. So what we do is we really try to just have the girls pause, think about the intentions behind it, and then be able to make their own decisions and kind of come to a conclusion about what this messaging means, and then how they can choose to navigate around it.
Right.
So we think the most important things is just having the girls slow down, recognize, ask questions, and really just use their own mind and their own intuition to say, oh, wait, maybe this isn't accurate. Maybe, all these messages that are bombarding me is not really what's most important from the external. And again, going back to that internal, having the girls recognize their internal cues rather than, kind of fall victim to all the societal pressures about how girls should look, act, think, feel, all that.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me, too. I mean, I think you see less of this now, but still it's a problem. Like, I'm a big Serena Williams fan, the tennis player, and she's unbelievable looking, unbelievably skilled, beautiful. But, a lot of times on social media, when you see posts about her, a lot of the commentary is very negative, saying, that she looks manly or masculine, or she's too big, or she's too muscled, or she's too this or that. And it's just, kind of heartbreaking to see. Like, this is like a strong, healthy woman who's beautiful, who's at the top of her game.
Right.
And somehow the message out there is, this isn't what beauty is.
Right. And it always seems to go back to the looks, right? Like, why are we so focused on the look aspect?
Right.
That has nothing to do with how she is an amazing tennis player.
But she happens to be beautiful also. But
right. Which, it's just, there's so many messages, and that's why we think our program is so important, that girls are really able to unleash their limitless potential and be able to get outside of that girl box, which we say in our organization all the time, that kind of constricts them and puts them into this, this box that limits their abilities and potential.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us in more depth kind of about the program. I know you said you teach, I think you said 24 life skills, and we know it culminates in the 5K. And you had said it just finished for the year. So we'll start again in the fall.
We're spring. So, yeah, we have, our season starts in February and runs through May.
Okay.
And again, it culminates with the 5K event, the third Sunday every May.
Okay.
And our curriculum, as I said before, it really addresses 3 different areas. The first 3-4 weeks of the program really address the girl and having her identify who she is, getting in touch with herself, getting to know their teammates. A lot of these girls either know each other from school, but some don't know. So really just establishing that team is the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season. The second part of the season is having the girls understand their relationships to others and how to identify a healthy relationship, how to choose a healthy friendship, and that encompasses everything from peer pressure, social media, bullying, how to stop bullying, how to prevent gossiping. And we actually teach them strategies through running activities where we have them, again, stop, think about what they're hearing. If they overhear gossiping or bullying, what can they choose to do about it? Can they be intentional with their decision making? How can they be a good friend? How can they stop that activity? And teach them to be kind of champions in their own small peer group of how to be that leader of positive change and not go into the negative side.
Right.
And then the third part of our curriculum addresses the community. So the girls actually come up with, design, and implement a community impact project during their lessons.
Okay.
Where the girls then give back to something they decide as a team is important to them.
What kinds of things have they done? I'm
just
curious.
So for example, so I coached at Roberts Elementary here in Wayne.
Okay.
And the season I coached, the girls decided that Alex's lemonade stand was very important to them.
Okay.
And again, it's all on their own. So the whole key, and it's hard for us as adults to not interject our own thoughts and feelings, but the whole point is, again, to develop this sense of character and identity and confidence and allow the girls to come up with what they want. So they vote, they decide what's important to them. Again, for them, it was Alex's lemonade stand. They made rainbow loom bracelets.
Okay.
They made them all in their own time. They made them during lessons, and then they sold them at their school and raised money for Alex's lemonade stand.
That's great.
And they were able to do that as a team, and they felt fantastic about it.
Sure.
A lot of schools the girls will work together to make blankets for animal shelters, and then they'll donate them. Or they'll do bake sales, or they'll do, I think one before, decorated bags for Meals on Wheels.
Okay.
And so a lot of times when they're just delivered in standard grocery bags, but one group decided they were going to decorate them with nice notes and kind words.
Fun.
And so when people got bags, they got personalized bags. So small things like that, but really the girls take so much pride in them, and it's a great way for them to understand how important it is to give back to the community at such a young age.
Plus, they decide themselves.
Absolutely,
which
100% themselves.
Yeah, so they're totally vested in it.
Exactly.
I love it.
It's really fun.
Yeah. So the girls that are in the program, do they apply through their school? Do they apply through the website? How's the selection process work?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we are an after-school program completely separate from the school. So we're a separate entity. And when we have interest in a school, we'll go to the school, we'll set up meetings and make sure that there's teachers and volunteers connected with that site that want to deliver the curriculum. And then what we do in the fall is we start advertising at the school. So we'll send out flyers, and they'll start posting them all over the school. And registration happens in November. Okay. So in November, the school will send out all the information, but through the school there will be an email, flyers home in a bag, however the school wants to advertise it. And then there's a link on our website. And let's say you have a child within that 3rd to 5th grade segment, you would go online with that link and you would register.
Okay.
What happens sometimes, though, is that we keep the team small for a reason, to keep them intimate and safe, and so there's more demand than what's available.
Sure.
So we do have a lottery system where all the girls for one school will enter, and then they'll scrambled, and they kind of automatically get randomly selected for the team.
So if they don't make it the 1 year and they're still within the age range, can they reapply? And
yes, and they actually will get preferred position and status for the next season. Yeah, so they will automatically get enrolled if they choose for the next season if they didn't get it this one.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, so the girls, I think you said there's like 8 to 20 in a group or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's about 8 to 20. And one other thing I want to mention too is we also are big advocates for any family being able to participate regardless of their ability to pay.
Okay.
So like any after-school program, right, there's a program fee involved.
Right.
But a lot of our families cannot afford it, and that is fine. And we have a sliding scale based on income, and we work with every single individual family to ensure that their daughter can participate.
Okay.
We've never turned away a girl because of her inability to pay, and we will never do that.
Right.
So we do a lot of our fundraising, and a lot of my job goes into providing scholarships for girls that can't afford it.
And I'm sure, getting back to the beginning when we were talking about networking, that's an important thing to tell people.
Absolutely.
That this is going to help girls of every kind of background.
Yep.
And if they give, then that's helping a scholarship for somebody to do the program.
Absolutely.
Right?
And we do have certain people in certain communities that say, I want my donations to be earmarked for, let's say, Pottstown. So we have Pottstown Health and Wellness Foundation for one example, and they say, we want all our funds to stay in the community and to fund just girls from this area, and we absolutely do that because a lot of people it's very important to them that, certain communities that don't have as much as other communities. Sure. I mean, they're and listen, everybody needs this program, right? Yeah. Girls, I mean, we all could use it.
Sure.
But we think, it's important for people that if they want to invest their time or their money with us, that they're able to make it apply exactly where they want it to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the programs, everything we've been talking about, does it take place at the schools of these teams or somewhere else? Yeah.
It does. It takes place at the school just because that's easiest logistics wise. I mean, the girls are all there. They come down from their school day and it's right there. We just ask for a safe indoor and outdoor space for them to deliver the curriculum. We have had the program run at some off-site locations. The Haverford Recreational Center is one of them, just because maybe a certain school doesn't want to have it, but the community wants it. Okay. So then we can find certain sites that will host it, and that's fine. Certain YMCAs have run it. We've had synagogues run it. We've had, like I said, community centers, and that's all well and good. Yeah. Sometimes it's just a little harder because parents have to pick their children up, drop them off, come back and pick them up.
It must be difficult with
a little bit more. So it typically runs a little easier from a school location, but that's not to say we cannot host it out of another location.
And then the 5K that kind of finishes the program, where does that take place?
So we've had it at Wissahickon High School every year. Okay. Because our local council started in Montgomery County, that made sense at the time. We are actually now looking for new locations here in the Villanova area. Okay. Because as we expanded to Delaware County, we kind of want to concentrate that 5K a little bit closer to both counties. So we're looking at Villanova, King of Prussia, Radnor, this kind of area right here. So
you're looking for a new location
for
next year?
We are actively looking, and we want to have that kind of firmed up in the next month or so. So that's something
great.
Definitely on our radar.
That's great. So I know, is it this year, 2016, that you're celebrating the 10-year anniversary? We are. So what are you doing to celebrate? Is there going to be a big celebration? Or are you going to change something?
It's kind of been all year long. We've kind of been celebrating since the beginning of the season. We had a big celebration at our 5K where we honored Tracy Ashdale, who's our executive director. She's the founder of Girls on the Run here locally. Okay. And she hit the milestone of serving over 5,000 girls locally, which we thought was really exciting. So we had a lot of fun things at our 5K. We had a big celebration with the Benefem event with Natalie Stavros, where that was kind of part of our 10-year celebration as well. We're planning some things in the fall, too, some big celebrations, which are in the works now, which we'll share when we have a few more details. But we're just trying to make this year as special as ever, obviously, and then just really looking to expand and keep bringing this curriculum to as many schools that want it, because that's what's most important to us.
And if people do want to get involved, I know you said you need coaches. Are there also volunteers that you look at, for example, for the 5K or different things?
Yes, absolutely. We are always looking for volunteers. We have about 5, 6, 7 opportunities throughout the year, if not more, of times that people can donate their time, where we definitely need, a lot of hands on deck to get ready for the season. We need volunteers for coaches training, bin assembly, 5K day, and then leading up to it, there's a lot of things that go into getting ready for the 5K. So the best place to go is our website, which is www.gotrpa.org. Okay. and there's a link right there for all volunteers.
What kind of commitment is it for the people who want to be the actual coaches for these girls' team? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, that's a great question. So coaches are heavily concentrated from that February through May commitment.
Okay.
So it's twice a week for an hour and a half, during those times for the 12 weeks.
Okay.
Leading up to that, the only commitment that we really ask for would be a coach interview if they haven't coached before, and 1 day of coaches training. It's a 4-hour session in January. We already have the dates selected. It's at the end of January, and the coaches will train with their team, the other coaching team, at a location here in either King of Prussia or in Ambler. It's at Germantown Academy.
Okay.
So it's a 4-hour training day.
Okay.
And that's it.
So it's kind of intense for the
it's
couple
intense,
months.
right, for a short amount of time, but then
but
then it's over. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you've answered this a little already because it is the 10th anniversary, but what is in store for your organization in the next year? I know that you're looking to expand in some ways. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, it's exciting. We every year have so many inquiries from schools that hear about this from other schools, and I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was meeting with Bridgeport Elementary, and all the other schools in their district have it. Roberts and Cayley and Candlebrook, so they're the last ones, and they contacted us and said, okay, we're ready to have this. We have coaches. So we met with them, and we're really excited that we're very close to making sure that they're going to come on board for next year. So our goal, again, is to just be in any school that wants to have a Girls in the Run program, and that's elementary or the middle school. So we're looking this year to serve over 1,000 girls in our next season, which will be for the spring of 2017. And then the goal beyond that is just to keep expanding.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah. So the schools, do you ever go to the schools, or you wait for them to come to you, or both?
It's a little bit of both. I do a little bit of reaching out, kind of throwing like a line out to see if there's any interest, but typically it happens organically where it's, again, one school or a parent or somebody else that has a daughter that's heard about it and says, wait, we don't have this in my school. I want it.
Why
and
not?
How do I get this started?
Right.
Yeah. And that's typically how it happens the fastest.
Right.
Yeah.
So what about you? So I know it's not a running program per se. Obviously, it has all these other components about confident leadership building, but it is, somewhat a running.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Are you a runner yourself? Have you been a runner your whole life? Like, tell me about that.
I am. Yeah. So for me, sports and physical activity has always been a really important part of my life. I started playing sports at a really young age, and I think for me it was a great way to build confidence and leadership skills throughout middle school, high school, even into college.
Did you run track or?
I didn't. I played field hockey and soccer.
Okay.
Those are my sports. And then when I went into college, I kind of took a step back from the competitive sports, but still exercised, daily as just a way to, relieve stress. And just always found that I met so many great people through it. And it was like a community for me for a long time. And that's just continued throughout my life. I've watched my parents exercise still every day. It's just been, it's like a part of who I am. It's a part of my identity. And I just, for me, it's just something that I do. It's just the same as like eating or breathing every day.
Now, since you mentioned your parents exercising, I'm curious, was that the type of household you grew up in where you watched them kind of be physically active, and then that kind of spurred you to do it?
Down to me. Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah. I think that's great. I think if you grew up in that kind of household, obviously, like you said, it's just part of your daily routine.
Right. It was never really an option. It was, my brother's the same way. I mean, we're all kind of, drinking the same Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And that's, you see like Michelle Obama with the Let's Move campaign and things like, because you have families that are exact opposite, where everybody sits on the couch and eats snacks all night. The parents do it, and then the kids do it, and then the next generation does it, and they don't know any different. Right. So that's great. Yeah.
Listen, I like my snacks too.
But, we all do. We all need those nights where we say, but not all the time.
I think it's about balance, right? Yeah. And I love the exercise part. I love the food part. I love, it's all just trying to be as balanced as possible.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, did you move from kind of the team sports? I know you said you were just kind of doing exercise in college. Mm-hmm. Did you start actually running? Like, did you start to do, 5Ks or marathons or half marathons?
I did. I did all of the above.
Okay.
Just as sort of like a bucket list thing. Right. I'd always said, like, I need to do one marathon, and I got it out of my system. I was, I don't know, it's probably been 9 or 10 years since I did it. And I've done some halves in between. I feel like as I get older, things hurt more.
Yeah.
So
the recovery time's more.
I also have 2 small children, so the actual time in the day kind of lessens for how much you have to give to exercise.
To train.
But now it's just to honestly get out of the house, and I'm like, okay, see you kids. I gotta get out for a run and clear my head a little bit.
It's funny. I feel like I have friends who it's kind of like a bucket list thing. You know, I want to do this, and once I do it, they're like, I'm good. I don't need to do.
No,
and then I have friends that start doing these runs, and it's like a rush for them. You know, oh, I did this, and now I want to do 10 more, and which one's coming up, and which one can I do next? And,
if I had the time, maybe I would, or I wasn't so injured all the time. I might, but I mean, for where I am in my life now, I kind of got those big ones out of the way, and now it's just kind of maintaining and, like I said, a way to get out of the house.
Yeah, that's great. Now, what about your kids? Are they active or?
They are. I mean, they're 2 and 5.
Oh, okay.
So they're super. They're active in their own way.
So they'd be active regardless. Yeah.
But I see my older daughter already picking up on, like she likes to work out with me when I'm running on the treadmill downstairs, and she's jumping on the trampoline. And I see I'm like planting those seeds with just all the balance that we've talked about. Like it's okay to eat snacks, and it's good to work out, and it's good to just kind of have a little bit of everything. So
definitely.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. So as far as the nonprofit work, being development director, what do you find as the most challenging part of doing that?
I think it goes back to what we talked about before in that I think Girls on the Run, again, from the name, I think it's hard for people to understand like the depth and, again, the breadth of what we do. I think when you talk about to people about where, if they have extra funds to donate and where they want to give, sometimes, Girls on the Run seems like this. It's an after-school program. It's an extra. It's not something as urgent needed as maybe homeless or, drug addiction or things like that seem to have this like immediate urgency. Yeah. So I think it's so important in my role to convey to people that what we do is at such a ground level and such a preventative level, in that everything we teach and giving girls these life skills and tools prevents all these things that we throw money at down the road, because we're providing such a human experience and such human characteristics and traits and skills that and really interpersonal relationships, which is so important for people to have in making good and intentional, healthy decisions for the rest of their life. That I think that's the hardest thing in my role, is just trying to have people understand it's not, again, not just a running program.
It's not just athletics.
It's not just athletics. It's so much more than that, and what we are doing. And we have such proven results that show girls that go through our program have decreased depression, decreased anxiety, less likely to take antidepressants, lowered risk of teenage pregnancy. I mean, all these things that are real issues.
Sure.
Girls that have these skills from our program have a less chance of facing those challenges later in life, or making better decisions when
I'm thinking also that, I mean, I don't know if you guys do statistics on this. I would think that a program like this, you'd see girls in the future who are in more leadership roles.
Yes.
Like at their schools and in college and beyond.
Leadership, and again, just increased physical activity, increased awareness about making healthy choices when they are on their own, and what is a healthy snack. Like, we literally teach them, we bring in foods and show them, like, hummus and carrots can be a snack, and you can make celery sticks with peanut butter, and yogurt, a lot of people don't know, literally don't know what a healthy snack could be. So we're teaching skills that they can then use and apply for the rest of their lives. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
So, going kind of off the path of the nonprofit for a minute, do you have something, we're about halfway through 2016. Is there something kind of on your yearly bucket list that you're hoping to accomplish for yourself?
Oh, by the end of this year? Well, I mean, I would go back to the word I said a couple minutes ago, which is just balance for me.
Yeah.
And I think, as so many people can relate to, being a working mom, having 2 kids, having a husband, having, really carving out that time for myself and realizing how important it is for me to be healthy.
Yeah.
And making good decisions every day to be the most balanced and successful in every arena of my life is probably my goal. So it's not an exciting goal necessarily, but it's something that's important to me. It's just that every day I kind of enter into that space of, like, how do I make the best decisions for myself, my family, my job, and all the things that are important to me to be healthy at the end of the year.
For the nonprofit work that you do, with Girls on the Run, do you have to be out a lot of nights at networking events and events and things like that?
It's funny you say that. Yeah. I mean, ask my husband. Yes, he's like going crazy sometimes. Yeah, I mean, listen, I could be out every night.
Sure, yeah.
You understand.
I get
networking.
It.
That's what it is. And so I have to make decisions a lot of time. And as a mother, too, with real small children, you have that guilt sometimes where it's like, should I, shouldn't I, and there are times where I choose work, and there are times I say no and choose the family, because that's important too. So, yes, there are plenty more things I'm sure that I could be out doing, but, you know, for this time in my life, you know, again, I use that word balance again. I have to keep the balance.
So kind of along the same lines, is there a networking organization that you feel has been successful for you and what you're trying to accomplish that you would recommend to others?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in this role here with Girls on the Run about a year, and for me so far the most probably productive networking association has been the Mainline Chamber of Commerce. I've met you. I think I've met you at another event before there, but lots of people that have been great advocates and ambassadors for Girls on the Run, people that have either helped start programs or have helped us, you know, network and expand our reach, volunteers, some donors. It's just been, I find it very welcoming. I find they do a great job, especially they have the nonprofit roundtable.
I was just going to mention that.
Yeah, I think that's been really helpful. I found great information from some of their guest speakers. And I just feel like they're so happy to help in any way possible, sharing things on social media, or if I have a question, or pointing me to a right person here. So for me so far, that's been a great organization. Yeah,
and you know, your organization is very community based. So and so I think the chamber as an entity is very community based. So it's a good fit. Yeah. And I think, you know, sometimes people get caught up, I mean, I know it's a nonprofit, but whether it's a nonprofit or a business, you get caught up in the day-to-day and you don't realize how much there is to be gained from being involved in your community, something like a chamber or Rotary or something like that. Yeah. So that's wonderful. Yeah. So I know you mentioned the website before.
Yes.
How else can people reach you if they want to get involved? You know, social media links and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and the best place to find all those specific links and handles and everything is at our website, which again is www.gotrpa.org. That would be the best place to find us. You can certainly email us through there. You can call us. You can, you know, do all those, so on all the social media aspects as well.
And as far as people being coaches for next spring's program, how soon from now would they have to get involved?
Now is a good time. And it's amazing how fast it comes up. The season just ended, and already we are into 2017. We have about 6 or 7 new sites coming on. And I'm sure more to come. And we'd like to have all that firmed up by August 15th.
Oh, wow.
That is
very soon.
It is, because once you get back to school, then we start marketing it and sharing the information with the families, and the registration is in the beginning of November. And all of that happens very, very quickly. So
now's the time if people want to get involved.
Now is the time. If you want to get involved, go to the website, check out our links, check out, you know, all sorts of fun things. We have lots of events going on throughout the summer and into the fall, so that's the best place to go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thanks for having me. It's so fun.
And check them out if you're not familiar with Girls on the Run. And hopefully you can get involved and learn some more.
Thanks so much.
Until next time.
Yeah, thank you.